Hello, everyone, and welcome to season 2 of the Business Minds podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Shaw, founder of BeInfinite.co and thebusinessminds.com. We have a great show for you today. We're going to be interviewing a young lady that is changing the game of entrepreneurship. Stay tuned, and we'll introduce her as soon as we get back. Hey, and we're back. That's a cool little intro for season 2 as well. We're saying, just like Melissa's changing the game, we're trying to change our game as well and up it. So I told you I was going to have somebody really interesting who really impacted me the first time I met her as well. Miss Melissa Van Haas. Hey, how you doing?
I'm amazing. How are you today?
That's good. That's good. I've tried to tell a couple of people about what you do, and I'm going to stop because I think I butchered it. So since it is your profession and you perfected it, let us know exactly who you are and what you do and why you do it.
Sure. So yes, I'm Melissa Van Haas. I am a 3-time best-selling author, speaker, and a human relations strategist.
Oh,
That's
wow.
kind of a fancy word to say that I help you become more memorable, more confident, which leads to increased sales in our businesses, right? If we can get people to pick up the phone when we are dialing them, we're one step closer to getting a check in our hand when we're doing business, right? So I teach people all about using the art of seduction, specifically social seduction, to have a different mindset, a shift in perception, and looking at the world differently, which then allows us to impact our business in a lot of fun and cool ways.
Oh, wow. Now, you said a mouthful, and you said something that's very interesting that catches people's eyes, because when they think about seduction, you already know this. Where do they usually go with that?
So seduction for most people, you go a couple avenues, right? You go seduction equals that one room in the house, wink, wink, purr, sex is the word we're talking about. Or
Yes.
some people have, manipulation. You're trying
Yes.
to brainwash people. Or, one of my personal favorites is the pickup artist tactics, which is sort of all about, in my opinion, these ideas after the bedroom are more about the dark kind of side of seduction, right?
Yes.
Taking this knowledge and this ability to understand yourself and others and kind of using it for maybe not the best, purposes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the light side of the equation, which is where I'm all about, which is seduction equals persuasion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Well, thinking about that and how you're going about really changing the narrative of seduction as far as entrepreneurship is bold in itself without even, just claiming that, without even having a roadmap for people to follow to go down that. How did you come about this way of thinking? And then how are you able to impact your clients' businesses using it?
Sure. So it's sort of, one of those things I'm sure you've had an experience where you're reading, you pick up a book, it sounds interesting, you start reading it, and then, as they say, quote, one thing leads to another, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just, I'm a big reader, and I like reading, nonfiction. So,
Mm-hmm.
How the mind works, psychology, self-help, anything that I'm a curious person. So anything about how and why we do the things that we do are very curious to me. So just started reading The Art of Seduction, which was written by Robert Greene. And
Mm-hmm.
anyone that's read that book, which I'm sure a lot of you have, it's a hefty read. It's almost 400, 500 pages. So it takes some time to digest. But what I loved about it was it gave a lot of archetypes. It gave historical examples of different characteristics that we all, I think, have within ourselves that we don't always bring out. And then we started looking at it from a game of psychology, not beauty kind of situation. It changes how we can use this information. So I just started reading these different materials. And then I did what I call social seductions in my own life and social experiments.
Okay.
So I would just take these tactics and these ideas and I would just practice them on my day-to-day life, so if I'm, engaging, with the checkout person, or people at happy hour, or whatever the case may be, just practicing these different ideas. And when they started, being, as they explained in the book, the results, I said, okay, these are universal principles and ideas at play. So then I expanded out the reach to some friends and said, hey, if this situation comes up, I want you to do this, or I want you to shift the mindset to this in this situation. And they'd say, well, why do you want me to do that? And I tell them, well, don't worry about it right now. Just tell me what happened, because if I'm a scientist, which I kind of consider myself like a little bit of an outrageous scientist, sort of, right? My social laboratory, my social experiments. So I can't tell you what I need the result to be, right? Or I'll wreck the experiment as the scientist.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell why I needed you to tell me, just tell me what the result was. So when I realized these are universal principles, I started doing workshops and like coachings and different things to teach people these ideas of it's seduction is persuasion, game of psychology, not beauty. And when we realize we are engaged in this dance of persuasion / seduction all day long, it really like opens the floodwaters, So like you and I were talking about, when clients realize that when you understand yourself first, right?
Yes.
Go inward, then I'm able to, when I engage with other people or persons, personal or interpersonal, situation or business, I'm able to take my own emotions out of the equation. And that enables me to fully focus on you and be in the moment. And that is something that a lot of people don't always think about, but it's one of those things that goes a long way in becoming super memorable. So when we think about it, this idea of social seduction, it's really a model that's built on mindset first, confidence, and then I created a hierarchy that walks through different principles and ideas. That at the top, the idea being with this idea is that you awaken your aura of seduction. And it's the it factor, right? So you have it, and you don't need to be beautiful to have it, right? So that's the end goal. And when people start to be able to flip that switch and know how to get into that mindset and keep that confidence and use these principles, then it starts to really shift a lot of the pieces for them quite quickly.
Oh, wow. I love how you said that a lot of people are already using it and they don't realize it. And you're really just bringing it to the forefront of, remember when this happened and it happened this way. Now I'm going to help you recognize why that happened that way. Because I like how you said you drunk your own Kool-Aid. You used your own formula, your own hypothesis before even trying to sell it. A lot of people don't do that nowadays. They just think they have a little bit of the pie that they just try to make money. Yeah. But you actually used it and incorporated it. That's going to go a long way for you selling it too. So because like I said, this is the way you're changing the cultivating the mindset of a new form of seduction to help entrepreneurs and business owners. That's pretty. I like big, bold thinkers, and that's about as bold as they come. Because every time I was just telling people about the guests coming up, about you coming on, and I just said seduction, and it's just like they just went left,
Yeah, exactly. But, like, what's that have to do with business? Or like, the other thing they say, oh, that's going to be PR problems or HR problems, right? No, not that kind of seduction, right? So that's where we also have to break a myth to say there's two kinds of seduction, right?
There we go.
Interpersonal, seduction, which can take the form, right, of our spouse. That's romantic. And then with our family, friends, and even children, right? That's a relationship as well. That's a seduction, right? You want your kids to eat their vegetables, do their homework, be a good citizen, Yes. Then social is, think about the word social media, right? So we're already engaging in it right now on all these platforms and different things, but we're not thinking about it in this shift of the mindset to say, this is a tool that when I can engage and really connect with people, that's what opens the doors to close deals, right? Like it's impactful to say, hey, when I was getting ready to launch my first book last year, there were many people in my phone, quite honestly, that I reached out to that we had lost touch, maybe pre-COVID because life happened, right? And I think when you get to a point where you've created an impact on people, whatever it may be, maybe it's the funky hair, maybe it's the aura of seduction, maybe it's everything, right? whatever it is that makes me memorable to people. If I call you 6 or 7 years after I haven't seen you for a minute, and you
Yeah.
pick up my call, and then people were picking up my call in the first ring,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like that's crazy. That's where we want to be, because that creates joint ventures. That creates let me
Mhm.
introduce you to this person that connects you to the next person, that the web of entrepreneurship, right?
Well, and you made a sizable impact, because think about all the different things that were going on in their life throughout those years, but your impact was still imprinted in who they are. So yes, I can definitely see how you teaching entrepreneurs the art of seduction in your way can help them build their business, build their brand. This is like branding on a whole nother level, like an add-on to building an actual brand, you know. So why did you call your book series The Seduction as a Second Language?
Well, as any good scholar knows, right, there are ABCs and one, two, threes, and I consider myself to be a scholar. And
Oh, that's
so
good.
seduction to me definitely has its own nuances, its own principles, its own tactics and ideas. So to me, it has to be kind of learned in a certain kind of progression of things, so that it makes sense, that you and utilize, so you can utilize it in your day-to-day life. But more importantly, when you go about it in a certain progression, in my opinion, it leads to quicker mastery. And when you get the
Oh, okay.
mastery, that's where I think, for me, it's like I call it, it's part of your DNA now. I do an exercise with people. It may sound weird, but I do a confidence building exercise with people. And this is a free tip to everyone at home. This is a great way to see how your confidence fluctuates just with a simple change of going into the closet. So, part one is you have a piece of paper, a journal, whatever, so you can write down how you feel after you go into the closet and put on your most horrible, ugly, cleaning the house, painting the fence, gardening, ripped up. You don't want anyone to see you. Like, if your house is burning down, you will debate, should I change my clothes or run for safety? If someone sees you in this outfit, right? So I
Dang.
want you to put that on. And then I want you to walk around, in your house, and I want you to feel how you feel from what you were wearing before to this now. How do I feel? Like, how's your body language? Am I standing tall? Is my head up? How's my voice if I'm talking to someone? How's my energy feel? How's my body actually feel? Like, inside my body feel, right? All
Oh,
these
wow.
things. So really just like get into it, like just be like 5 or 10 minutes, like make it kind of anguishing a little bit to be like, I just want to get this over with, but like set a timer and be in this like for like 5 or 10 minutes, because it'll really start to feel on you a little longer that you're on wearing it. The second part is go back in the closet, second piece of paper, and you take out your outfit that makes you feel like, the
You
one that
can't
you
tell
can
me
walk down the
nothing, huh?
street that no one can tell
Yeah.
you nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And for women, I always tell them, and men too, if you need a certain shoe, you need to wear that shoe. For women, if we need to have makeup and hair and accessories and trinkets and even undergarments, and all the accoutrements that go with it to feel our best, if we were going to go to that event and look, fly, then put that on. And we
Okay.
probably, a lot of us have like that go-to power feel outfit, right? Power suit. That's called power suit for a reason, right? Gives you confidence when you put it on and power up. So write down now how you feel. And you'll just really be amazed at the shift in this exercise of, wow, my head will probably be taller. I feel more energetic. I'm
Hmm.
smiling probably, right? Even smiling. I wasn't smiling in my first outfit.
Before. Yeah.
Smiling now. But that shift will remind you, if you do it, of how I can just actually change wardrobe and change my mindset real quick. And eventually, if we want to keep building this habit, just like reading, going to the gym, meditation, what have you, we need to do it on a regular basis. So
Hmm.
spend a week wearing your best outfits. Wear them for the day as you go about your whole day. Don't just take them off and get into sweats as soon as you come home. Like, wear it to its completion and feel how it kind of changes your energy and your experience as you're moving. And then you'll kind of start to get to a place, this is where we want to lead to the mastery, where you don't need the outfit anymore.
Hmm.
People just pick up on it, for whatever. Like, I can wear something I think is very like, probably not the greatest for me. It's not that thing, but I'm just gonna run to Walgreens, grab something for 2 seconds. And a checkout girl would be like, wow, like one girl really told me, said, I really like your eye makeup. I said, okay, thanks. She said, I've only seen that on YouTube, never anyone in real life. And she was like a kid, like a millennial, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm just like, no. I said, really, that's interesting. She said, it looks really good, but I don't think I would do it. I said, why not? Just go for it. Life is short.
Yeah.
And just in that moment, from me being confident to be who I am, it led to that moment with a younger person that maybe that will lead to them getting a little more confidence, right?
Yes.
So these little mind exercises have been very helpful to me, and I'm sure other people will like having those mind tricks. I call them, I have to trick my mind sometimes to get the results I want until I form the habit of that it's set in there.
Oh wow, that is so amazing that you give away that little tip that now that we can all go use it. This is the power of being an entrepreneur too. That's cool. I like how you said that you impacted that you don't know where that impact could go in that young lady's life, and that is so very true. Because when we feel more confident, we are more in a giving spirit too. So we
Right.
could essentially, you could be a world changer just from building yourself up with that confidence. That's amazing, and I could see how that could play into somebody building a successful business, especially when things aren't going your way in that business. You
Right.
can at least, okay, well, at least
Go
I
back.
feel better about myself. I'm getting more confidence, and you know what? That those rejections weren't that bad. Let me go back out there because I've always stressed that entrepreneurship is like 80% mental, and then 20% you can learn. Whatever it is,
Right.
you can go out there and
Systems
learn
you
it, or
can learn.
yeah, or pay an expert. But
Exactly.
but with what you're doing, you're building up that 80%, because a lot of times I say that and I've gone through that, but I'm not realizing that these other people don't have a roadmap to build up that mental power. And you're basically giving them that roadmap to build that up, correct?
Right. And it's like, I was talking to someone, we were talking about resilience, as a
Yeah.
mindset too, right? And this is the same thing, confidence, resilience. These are things that we need to have like a bank of, just like a
Hmm.
bank of money,
Yeah.
and energy bank, right? That's why we charge our
Yes.
phone at night. We don't want our phone to go to 1%, but we'll let ourselves and our confidence and our
Ooh.
mindset and everything go to less than 1%. But if we
Yeah.
got to
That's
find a
deep.
charger if our phone's about to run out. So we need to
Yes.
shift the priority to us being on full charge, full power, full confidence mode all the time, because people are watching. I don't say they do, they
Hmm.
are watching. Why do we have videos all over social media? We have a platform called YouTube for a reason, right? People are human nature, we're voyeurs, right? We want to watch an
Yes.
experience, so they're already watching you. So when you become the bold, authentic, confident person that you're supposed to be and own your brand and whatever product you have, people would feel it. Just like Star
Hmm.
Wars. They feel the Force. Use the
The
Force.
force.
Like
Yeah.
people
They
are
feel it.
attracted to that, and not just like romantic attraction, of course, but people feel that. And in my experience, I've also had situations where I've been involved in private events where I host these things, and it'd be like very over the top kind of things where you'd wear costumes and various things, and I'd be hosting, and I would watch as these people would start very shy and
Hmm.
quiet, and reserved, and then I'd kind of whip everybody into action, and get the fun kind of started. And by the end, of experience, months or sometimes years later, after engaging with people, I could watch them go from shy and the quiet to, hey, do you like my outfit tonight? Like, you inspired it, like it's very glittery, don't you think? Because I'm all about glitter and fun, so it's like I, not thinking that I had an impact like that. I was just trying to keep my confidence high so that it would
Yes.
make it fun for other people. And in them watching it, said it helped them somehow rubbed off or whatever it does, right? A little bit, to be like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. And I
Yeah, I
think
can
that's
do
a
it.
lesson people forget a lot. If I can do it, you can do it. And once we get the mental straight, everything else is a wrap, really, like you said.
Yeah. it falls in line. You're exactly right. Our biggest battle is always with ourselves, and a lot of people ask that about entrepreneurship. Like we follow certain people, man. Everything what you just said just brings up so much in my head. So when we follow certain people, I remember I think it was Ti, rapper Ti. He was just like, I couldn't hang out with my fans because they think that I'm doing some, huge thing when all I'm doing is what I feel like I want to do, and that money and that fame came with it,
Mhm.
And it's kind of like what you're just saying, if once you feel like figure out who you are and build up that mental bank to resist the things in the world that are telling you you're not that's not who you are. You become, this bold, confident people, and other people are attracted to that, not knowing you just really are following, living in the way you were created to live. And so that is exactly right. Now, how can we incorporate? Let's say, can you give me an example of a way an entrepreneur? Well, I guess entrepreneur can use that in so many different ways. We just named it, but let's say they're at a networking event, right? They're not good at being. They're an introvert, and they want to go to start networking because networking is, sometimes the lifeblood of a business, and they want to make an impact. How could they use reading your book, going through your series, getting to know you, doing some coaching with you? Kind of how could you give them a couple of tips or pointers to, make a lasting impact?
Sure. So, I think one of the main things, like we've just been talking about, is first is that inner confidence. And
Mm-hmm.
when we, I read a lot of Napoleon Hill's work, right? I'm sure you have too.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things he first starts with is the idea of, right, figuring out what you're supposed to be doing. Like, what is
Mm-hmm.
your definite purpose in this world? And I think where a lot of people lose confidence and the ability to go out and network effectively is not necessarily that they're maybe quiet or introverts. It's more about they haven't been sort of shared with how do we engage in a dynamic way and be
Mm-hmm.
confident in what we have to offer. So if we are looking at someone that's a little more quiet, one of the first things that I like to do is figure out, okay, what are they actually going to network and offer? Because most
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs have really cool and unique things. And so when we figure out what that is, the next step is to figure out how to get those things out of our head, where as entrepreneurs or business owners, sometimes they fall in and say, well, that might not work. What if people don't like me? What if I get
Yes.
criticized? What if people don't buy? All these things, right? Because what happens then is we have that energy that comes out with that bad energy, in the sense of, right, people feel that sense of urgency where it's like, I need you to buy because I need to eat.
Yeah.
I need to eat
That's a
today. Can you
turnoff.
please
Yeah.
buy? You can't say
Yeah.
that in a sales call, right? But in your mind and in your soul and in your heart, it's there because that's the reality. But when we shift back to say, okay, everything is temporary in life, everything, is impermanent, and things change like clouds in the sky, right? So we look
Mm-hmm.
up at the sky, we can't be mad that the clouds have shifted, right? Be like, seriously, clouds, why are you moving again? Like, you're moving all the time, right? Like, that would be crazy if we started thinking that way about the sky and nature, but we do
Yes.
that with ourselves all the time,
Oh man, that's powerful. Yeah.
right? So we should shift
Yeah.
back to say, hey, what we have to offer is valuable. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to articulate it in such a way that is unique that people will want to respond to me. And when I think we shift away that little self-sabotagey and those little minions on our ears that most of the time are not, let's remember, most people that criticize entrepreneurs and try to tell you you can't or you shouldn't or
They're
it
not.
won't work are not entrepreneurs. They
They're
have a
not
paycheck job.
entrepreneurs. You're exactly right. Oh
So
my God.
stop listening to
Yeah.
people who
Yeah.
don't have the secret to you, right? You wouldn't
Yeah.
be like Luke Skywalker wouldn't want to try to learn the Force from the stormtroopers.
No.
Like, they just shoot people and take
Yeah.
orders. He had to go to Yoda, he's the guide. But then
Yeah.
Yoda could not fight for him or take him
No.
to the next level. He had to let the baby bird go and believe in yourself. So the confidence we build from engaging in one another and just really taking the value to say that what you do have to offer, and this is America, right? Everybody can make money if you
Yes.
have the consistent work, you have the mindset and the belief in yourself. And this is the thing, unwavering belief, so that You and I've talked about this, Chris, right? So that you have no problem that you would do this work for free until you get paid to
Yes.
do it. So if you're not willing to do that, then it doesn't matter how great my coaching is, your coaching is, my book, whatever you do, you won't ever have that confidence to go into any networking or any kind of meeting to say, I believe in myself when you can't even work for free for yourself, right?
Man, you took that to a whole nother level. I love it. I love that that you really put that in depth. So listen to that. The answer is, hey, y'all shouldn't even go to the networking event if you're not set with yourself first. So that's I 100% agree, because I love how you said the people that I call it an inner critic. Your inner
Mm-hmm.
critic. You have like this little inner critic. He's always telling you, oh, you can't do that, or that doesn't sound right, or you won't make enough money to do that, or all these little things that maybe we gathered coming up. But you're right. When we're an entrepreneur, you gotta silence that, and it doesn't always just silence, but you gotta. It's a battle.
Right.
But like you said, if I can make a withdraw from my mental bank
Mm-hmm.
that I've stored up, then I have more than enough strength to fight off that inner critic. And then you go into that networking. And I love how you said too, a lot of people, they do join these networking groups talking about sell, 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 versus give value. What
Right.
value can I bring? What value can I
Right.
bring? What value?
And
Because
that's
that
the
does
thing.
look
People
scary.
feel that, people feel that in
Yeah, they
networking,
could
and they
tell.
also feel it. Here's the thing: everything is very self gratification and instant
Yeah,
gratification now, because
instantly.
we
Yeah.
are a swiping society now, and we're an Amazon Prime get it the next day type of
Yeah.
world. So we don't know how to do this seductive dance of anything anymore because everyone's trying to shortchange the window. So we go from, hey, thanks for getting signing up for my email, and here's the checklist that you wanted to. Are you ready to buy something? Like now. You gotta like romance, right? It's like going on a first date, and then like, I mean, granted, this does happen, love at first sight, but most people don't go from first date to get married on
Yeah.
the second date. And in business, and a lot of people are doing it this way. That's why they're missing out like on their mid funnel marketing, because they're not doing
Hmm.
nurture marketing, which is this dance of the romance, right? You need to romance your customers, and so you can feel what they're feeling, so they understand that you hear their voice, and you have the solution for them. Otherwise, you're just noise like everyone else. You won't stand out in a crowd, which is no good. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to be a visionary. That's how people, we remember their names. Jefferson, Edison, founding fathers, Tesla, going to the moon. We will have these people in history because they believed in their vision and they were visionary.
Mhm. Even when other people didn't. One of my most famous, I mean, not one of my, but one of the quotes that I love is from Ford when he was coming up. How when he started the automobile, how even Congress at the time was like, nobody, the horse is here forever. Nobody's ever
Right.
gonna. This is just
Yeah.
a limited time. Now you tell a kid to go from the city to go ride a horse.
They're
Like
like, what are
what?
you
That doesn't
talking
make
about?
sense.
That's crazy. Yeah. And the
That didn't
crazy,
make sense. But he was a visionary. You're right. I mean,
yeah.
even the government, nobody believed that it was going to take over. And I always think about that because of how prevalent cars are now. I mean, I couldn't even think, so, but he had to believe in himself. Just imagine all the what he was getting. So I totally agree with everything you said, and I 100% agree that it's about that mindset. That mindset. You might as well hang it up. Another Ford. Either you can or you can't. Whether you say you can or you
Can or you
can't,
can't. You're
you're
right.
right.
Right,
You're right.
exactly. Whether you think you
It
can or
doesn't.
you think you can't, you're right. And the
You're
crazy with Ford too, when he rolled out the first car, I mean, this guy had pre-orders before there was a word called pre-orders. Okay, like this is
they're
how
already ready to
brilliant
buy, huh?
he was without even a college or barely any education.
Yeah.
And it's the belief in his idea, right? So I think I calculated to today's value, it'd be like $1 billion launch that he would have rolled out then. I
Yeah.
think because he was charging people $600 per car in
Oh
the
wow.
original car rollout. He had like $300,000 that came in before
Dang.
the car even finished on the assembly line.
Well, you talk about that now. That's romancing with your belief. Like
Hmm.
people are like, hey, this is something we need. I bet when he spoke, people just believed that this was going to be a thing, except for the naysayers who weren't entrepreneurs. Anyway, so but no, hey, well, listen, I want to get to know how do people get in contact with you? What kind of events you have coming out? How can I mean you're so interesting. We want to make sure people can get in contact with you and really work with you.
Sure. So, well, I'm on LinkedIn, of course, and there's only one me that looks like me, so you'll know. And you can find me also at creativeblissllc@yahoo.com for my email. And I have
Okay.
a few webinars coming up for the month of June. One is a co-hosted webinar with my friend they call the Wellness Unicorn, and it's
Oh
around
wow.
this topic. It's called Bounce Higher, and it's about the idea of building up your resilience muscle. So we're going to be talking about mindset. We're going to be talking about building confidence, busting negative thoughts and beliefs, so that we can bounce back higher when life keeps throwing COVID and this thing. And we know it's been stressful, right? So
Yes.
we felt that this is sort of like people need a way to feel that they can cope a little bit better. And so we created this webinar that's going to be coming up next week on Wednesday, June the 8th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And then we're also
Hmm.
going to do one for evening folks on Thursday, the 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can get two opportunities to join into that. And we're having a special, if you join before, you get a little special cool pricing. And then the second thing I'll be doing is my Art of Social Seduction workshop on June the
Okay.
15th at 7 p.m. And that's all about the idea of using this concept, social seduction, to become more memorable and increase your sales for your business.
Oh man, this sounds good. And the link is right below. It's for the webinar. It's coming. It's scrolling across the screen for all y'all to know. And I think it's also in the comments.
That's
Y'all
right.
check it out. I mean, Melissa is changing the game as far as entrepreneurship too, and helping people see a different side of them to where they can build. I'm telling you, the foundation, some of the foundation pillars are exactly what Melissa is you're talking about. I mean, you have to have that mindset. It's no way around it. I used to work with a lot of entrepreneurs that just wanted to do their one little thing. Like let's say they're a great cook, but they want to start a business. But I was like, hey, you got to get outside. Like you got to be more than a cook now if you want to start a business, and that would just have them frozen. You know what I mean?
Right. It's a lot
And
to take
so
on.
yeah, yeah, you're right. And they're thinking more of the if I build it, they will come type mentality versus hold up, I need to grow in my mindset first before anything, before our website, before anything. You need to grow in your mindset, and that's exactly what you do. And I appreciate you. We're behind you. Me and my company behind you
Thank you.
100%. Any mindset is the number one place to go, and that's the one of the least things that you're really taught when you're going to business school or you're
Hmm.
listening
Any
to a lot
school.
of people. Yeah, yeah,
Any
any
school,
school,
right?
right?
Yeah. And so I like to give this as like my little mantra for everyone, right? For the shift. And again, maybe you don't want to do the closet experience that we talked about, but this is also fun, right? So shifting our perception that we're all black and white. Entrepreneurs, we're a little more colorful in general, but in
Yeah.
general, people looking at things black and white. So we need to shift it fast. So just put on your rose colored glasses and take a walk around and start to see how things look differently to you, right? I know you could just looking at me, seeing me in these glasses already is making everyone happy and looking at things differently.
Yeah.
So just put them
Always got to
on,
smile.
find a bright color, and just kind of take yourself from Dorothy Black and White Wizard of Oz, where we're at, to Land of Oz.
Oh, okay, love it, man. Yeah, love it, man. I'm really glad you came to the show. And we're definitely gonna be in contact, and you're gonna be on here again. I love your personality and your view on life and entrepreneurship because I want y'all to see Melissa's attitude, the way she's, I mean, just everything about you. And to do that, I know you have problems as an entrepreneur. We all do, but to still have that mindset and to be able to help other people with that, because that's the number one thing. So I really want y'all to take that in her outlook on life as an entrepreneur and helping people. Okay, I mean that's our show. That's our first episode. You were kicking off season 2, and I super appreciate it. We're gonna have you back, and everybody, once again, her contact information is scrolling down below. Get in tune with her. She can help you increase that bottom line with not your typical marketing, right? Let's
Right, exactly. I'm not your typical anything, right? That should just be it. Dot dot dot.
Yeah, okay, cool. I like that. We just
Right.
came up with a slogan for you. No,
Yeah,
but
I like it. We just on the spot, right? Masterminding at its finest.
any last words you want to part anybody with anything with, or
I'll just part with the idea of just let's keep it simple, shift your shift your mindset, which leads to a shift in perception, which usually leads to a shift in your reality. So
Ooh, I love it. Okay. Thank you once again, Melissa, for joining us. Guys, you check out our book too. Book series. Sorry, I keep saying that. Book series. And we will check you on the next Business Minds show. Thank you once again. Check us out at thebusinessminds.com and the Business Minds, the Facebook Business Minds, LinkedIn Business Minds, everything. Until next episode, I'll talk to y'all later.